When Adult Learners Week started, I had a committee who said, this is a dreadful idea, we don't want you to do it. But I was asked where it came from, and in part it was because the government of the day decided to make some new policies, and senior civil servant explained to me that there's no such thing as adult learning. There's further education, it's higher education, nothing else. And so they weren't going to fund it anymore. So with the women's institutes and local authorities, there are 9,000 branches of the WI. They wrote letters en masse, and 6 weeks later the government decided to clarify its policy. We thought, we've got something here. Legislation's still going through. We thought it would be a great thing if we could celebrate adult learners, because we noticed in Parliament that when people debated it, they said, people don't want to pay for flower arranging on the taxes. So we found a Brixton florist, formerly a merchant banker, who'd gone to evening classes as his industrial retraining and employed half his classes as a glorious shop. Independent wrote him up. Within 3 weeks in Parliament, they were saying, of course, we know flower arranging can lead to floristry. So at the heart of it, as Stephen said, simple idea, was you celebrate existing learners and all of their diversity in order to encourage other people to join in, and in order to help decision makers understand better how adult learning can contribute to a whole range of social policies. Simple idea, and it works, and it's now spread to something like 50 countries. When we started, we were lucky. The BBC decided to put the first publicly funded adverts into prime time of stories on how people might engage with learning. The ITV companies told the stories of our individual winners, and Channel 4 commissioned a drama about it. So they gave us a kind of public visibility. With the Department for Employment, we created a national learning helpline. There was a Cones helpline at the time, and we began ringing it up and saying, can you give us advice about adult learning, as a joke. But anyway, we got a week for this helpline. 55,000 people phoned, and more than half of them were long-term unemployed. Those days, you got your benefits check in a giro check, in a weekly check. We put a piece of paper saying, phone the helpline, into every one of those checks. Well, A, we've got a national helpline, Learn Direct, that's derived out of that and is now understandably part of what we do nationally. But secondly, it made a real and profound difference. Because the biggest challenge is it's not only decision makers who find it hard to join in, but people who found education less than glorious the first time around. They need the stories of people like themselves who have transformed their lives.
So the Festival of Learning is at heart about two main things. The first is celebrating adult learning and making the case for adult education. And since 1992, we've had almost 2,000 winners of different awards. And actually it's those stories of the people in this room that really show the power of adult learning, lifelong learning and adult education to change lives and to help people to reach their full potential. So those awards and those 2,000 award winners are a big part of what we do and celebrating that achievement. But the second part of what the Festival of Learning is about trying to inspire more people into learning. And that's partly through the winner stories of those in the room today. And what many of you will have learnt is that there's no such thing as a free award, and we make you work hard afterwards in terms of going out and speaking about your experiences and inspiring many more people. But it's also about have a go events and getting people involved in taster sessions. And this month is the Festival of Learning month, and there are more than 1,000 events going on across England to give people a chance to get involved in different forms of learning. So please do go and have a look at our website. There's a calendar on there. Go and register if there's something you're interested in. And also if you're thinking about setting up an event, please go and put it on that calendar as well.
And it is about encouraging all adults to take up learning opportunities, whatever they might be. And you never know where that process is going to start. Passing interest, crafts, there's no such thing as an unskilled job. Adding to what you know, what you can do, will make a difference. And the partnerships and the learning providers across England which help to generate and promote access points and a varied range of the kind of have-a-go taster sessions, which I think we were talking about just now as a launch for Learning Festival, that there are open days and other events which take place throughout June. And there are local events which take place in workplaces, in village halls, in libraries, in museums, certainly in prisons and colleges and universities. And that's really important, that they should be at all levels of the educational strata. And there are regional and national awards. So the learning providers, the employers, the community organisations, they're the ones who will submit the nominations in England each year for the inspirational individual learners and tutors. We could not manage to run these campaigns without willing partnerships of organisations and sponsors and dedicated practitioners across the country who really do understand the value of inspiring people to go on learning, to take the opportunities when they come.
So it's all about trying to celebrate the very best in adult learning and some amazing stories, and also inspiring more people into learning. And we know that learning can be transformative, and I think everyone in this room is here because you believe in that. But the importance of learning means that I hope today is also the start of the next 25 years, and continuing to make that case for adult education, continuing to make that case to get more people involved in learning as well.
We can hopefully reflect on achieving a considerable increase in understanding and awareness and acceptance that learning is a lifelong process in the last 25 years. But we need to remember that that has to go on for a lot longer than the next 25 years, I suspect. So thank you.